It's a couple of podcast boys doing a podcast.
We usually do a podcast, banana podcast.
It's always late, but it's a podcast.
Late is no longer a term we can use.
Yeah, if it's always late,
an on time.
If you're always late, is there even a schedule?
Nope. Talking about not even a schedule. This is not even Phineas and Ferb. Welcome back to the implications of Phineas and Ferb, where we discuss the implications of not Phineas and Ferb. I am Joseph.
Yeah, I am Lachlan. It seems like a bit of a bad title for a podcast where we discuss literally everything except Phineas and Ferb.
Yeah, I know. So, welcome to Season 2, Episode 28 of Not Phineas and Ferb and Phineas and Ferb-Busters. Now, I'm going to say right out of the gate, I'm kind of upset Phineas and Ferb-Busters wasn't a Ghostbusters thing. That would have been cool. But that's okay. Who are you going to call Phineas and Ferb-Busters?
That would be a pretty good parody. But we do get a parody of Charlie's Angels in that episode, which is
which is also still pretty good,
Yeah.
I guess. I never watched Charlie's Angels ever, but
I never did either. But I know that shot where they're standing in front of the explosion. It's very
Everyone
2002,
knows that shot.
Isn't it?
didn't they remake it? Didn't they do a reboot in 2019? And
they did with
it was going to be horrible.
Kirsten Stewart and Naomi Scott and the other one.
Was it?
Was it Naomi Scott? I think it's Naomi Scott. I heard it was so average that it was nothing.
It's
wasn't
an action
bad,
comedy,
but
2019, and it got 50% on Rotten Tomatoes, 50% on Metalcraft, 50% on IMDb. So it was just unnoteworthy in every way.
Yep. Very, very mediocre. Which, that's a great thing to say about a film that hundreds of people probably worked very hard on that I haven't even seen.
Yeah, I guess. But also, oh well.
Yeah, it's a studio.
Well, not Phineas and Ferb, the first episode. I'll run you down with what happens.
All right.
Phineas and Ferb goes to the movies.
Mm-hmm.
And so that we're left with Baljeet and Buford to try and fill the mantle to convince Irving's brother that they are indeed incredible.
Yes. Firstly, it would be very, very funny if we just decided that we only cover what Phineas and Ferb do. So if Phineas and Ferb aren't doing much in the episode, we just don't cover that episode at all. I just think that would be very funny, but we're not going to do that because then this podcast would be very boring.
Short, quite short, particularly for this episode. But there is a lot we can talk about at the start with space adventures. Adventure in space.
That was so out of time. We tried. Space adventure. It's an adventure in space. Yeah, they're just... I like how at the start of that episode, they start singing. Phineas sings the fanfare, and he's like, no, we could do better than that. He sings it again. And then Candice is downstairs, and she's able to hear both Phineas singing and the full fanfare behind it. And she's just getting consistently more annoyed because they just keep saying it over and over again.
Yeah, so the music plays when he sings, which is weird because we couldn't see where it was coming from, but it plays when he sings, which I thought was very
diegetic cool. Music.
You're welcome, Miss Grattan. Anyway, very cool. And there's actually Space Adventures, Adventure in Space, is like a Star Trek, Star Wars ripoff that is in the Phineas and Ferb universe. It's a TV series, movie, it's everything. Very good spoof, and there's more and more of it as we go across this Phineas and Ferb adventure of ours. Interestingly enough, if you want to learn more about it, we have a pretty cool conversation with Jeff about it because it features a little bit in the movie. And he was talking about, wasn't there a possible spin-off? If there was, Dan and Jeff wouldn't be a part of it. They were producer really wanted to do it. And I was
I completely forgot that was a thing.
No, I remembered that. And I'm super keen because
I also completely forgot that we had a conversation with Jeff Swampy Marsh. We did a podcast with Jeff Swampy Marsh. How cool is that? That's never going to get old to say.
I know, right? And we got the inside. And I think it'd be really interesting if they did it, if they got an adult, they did adult cartoons. I know they like their kids, but I would like a Star Trek, Star Wars ripoff adult animated cartoon where they just like swear and stuff.
Yeah, because I've been surprised. There's very little good quality, like Star Wars and Star Trek spoofs. Like I thought there was a lot of them because there's like the Orville and there's like a lot of homages and stuff like Rick and Morty and there's Star Trek Lower Decks, which I haven't seen, so I can't speak
they're
about
all
that.
separate things.
Yeah, there's a lot of them that are separate that kind of pay reference to it, but there's very little that's just overtly like, hey, this is just ripping off Star Wars to be funny.
Yeah,
And I think the only one that really exists is the Phineas and Ferb Star Wars special.
How much material you could get out of how much you could get material of just ripping off Star Trek, but I'm sure they'd figure it out. Like
you know how much Star Trek there is, right?
True, and I've watched none of it. I'm also starting to watch, in terms of series that are like it, Solar Opposites, which is done by the guy who did Rick and Morty. And I definitely recommend Rick and Morty more. It's all right. It's good. I'm trying to get into it. It's kind of
welcome back to the recommendations of Joe and Lachlan, where we discuss the recommendations of Joe and Lachlan.
Yeah, if you want good shows to watch, that, and then also Invincible.
Yes, that was what I was about to bring up. Everyone in the house has started watching Invincible, so we're watching it again.
Anyway, we're gonna have to cut
a lot of
all of that, every single bit of that.
Welcome back from the ad break.
Have you ended up watching Harley Quinn?
I have not yet. No,
right,
I've been watching Attack on Titan.
It's quite good. It's quite funny. I laughed a lot.
Starring Haley Kiyoko. Is that how you say her last name?
Starring Penny from Big Bang Theory. Yes.
Very good actress. And yeah, Attack on Titan. I've been watching that.
You've been watching Attack on Titan?
Yeah, I finally decided to give it a go. I get the hype around it. It's a very effective horror series. It's quite terrifying, and it's very good at building tension. It's very good action. The main character is quite possibly the most whiny bitch I have ever seen in all of entertainment media ever.
So he's like an Anakin Skywalker sort of thing?
He is so much fucking worse than Anakin. He yells at everyone that even, like, literally yells at everyone who even, like, vaguely suggests running away from the Titans. And the Titans are these 15-meter tall eldritch monster cannibals that consume humans whole. And he's like, how dare you be a coward and run away? And he's always fucking yelling because he has no volume control. And he's like, how dare you run away? It's like, have you seen those things? I'd run away. They're not that. Okay. They're pretty fucking terrifying. I'm not a fan of
whiny bitches being the protagonist, but that's all right.
Yeah, and then the annoying thing is he has this, like, kind of love interest. It's in this weird territory where, like, they're not technically related, but they grew up in the same family because her parents were murdered. Anyway, he's got this sister.
Oh, that's perfectly fine. If you're adopted son, it's adopted. It's perfectly fine. It's not like they're a sister or brother to you at all.
Yeah, exactly. And she is so much cooler of a character. She's like the top of her class, and she's like badass, and she.
Oh, so she's Hermione Granger.
Yeah.
And this guy's fucking Harry Potter.
Yes, it is exactly like that. And I'm just sitting here watching, and I'm just like, why is Mikasa not the main character of this series? What is happening? It's annoying.
Okay. Anyway.
Back to the show that this podcast is supposed to be about.
Yeah, we really need to trim this. I think we might have a problem with attention. I think we might have just a little issue.
You don't say. Me and my ADHD take offense to that, Joseph.
Well, that's good, because I was aiming for it. I was wanting to offend it.
Yeah.
My favourite part of this app, I really don't like Irving.
Yeah, I was going to say my least favourite part of this app is Irving. He is
and I really don't like his brother.
Yeah, his brother's somehow more annoying.
Yeah, he's boring, but also just annoying. You're just there like,
I get what they were going for with Irving, and I like a lot of his individual character moments, but as
Irving
a character...
is like us. That's the point.
Yeah, he's the audience surrogate. He's a dude who obsesses over Phineas and Ferb, and as someone who's now, like 50 episodes, 60 episodes into a podcast about Phineas and Ferb, I get that.
We are Irving, but I don't like myself, so that explains it. I hate myself, I hate Irving.
It's like looking in a mirror for too long. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. But the good part of this episode... Doof is building a train.
Yeah. So my favorite part is Doof, and he's built this train,
Doof
and
plot
then he
is
knocks
great
it
in this
over,
episode.
and he's like, "Ha! All of you are gonna be late for work. Not that they're injured or they're hurt or that it's gonna cost money to fix the train or anything like that. It's the fact that they're gonna be late to work that makes him like get on." And I'm like, yes.
Doof
Yes,
is the best
that is-
kind of supervillain. He is a
that is the sort
supervillain
of-
of minor inconvenience. He
It's the
doesn't want to
sort of-
murder anyone. He just wants people to be late to work.
It's the sort of evil I live for. And then when he was like, what are you going to do? I'm going to shrink down all the national wonders of the world just for my train set because I'm sick of these models being trash. And I'm like, yes.
That's relatable.
More evil things. Not for selfish reasons, but like little meaningless selfish reasons. Just, so good.
It's
I love it.
fantastic. I also do enjoy how this entire episode is just them gaslighting Irving.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah. Well, gaslighting his brother. I don't get it. The brother kind of he just annoys me so much because he's like, "Oh, I'm the truth detector," but he can't see that it's Baljeet and Buford in costume. Also,
I
where
believe
did they
that's
get
what
the
we call
costume?
the joke.
I know.
But no, I really liked how the Eiffel Tower at the end just shows up,
Yeah,
just
true.
to like make Irving doubt reality. Like,
Yeah, because
it's like a reverse busting. Instead of the thing disappearing, it becomes real. That's a cool premise, I think.
Yeah, but then it goes again before Mum sees her, which is traditional.
That's just consistency.
Yeah, they have to do that. They can't not at this point.
I've written they think Candice is insane, and I cannot remember why I wrote it.
Because she's running
But
around.
I feel it.
And she's just like stretching Phineas and Ferb, going, "These are costumes."
yeah.
And she's like, "It's invisible. It's gone now." Like,
And there's all the mums there, and they all just like, "Oh my god, what, Linda? What have you raised?"
yeah, she's like, it's so lost, and she's like, "Okay, this is my life now." And I'm like, "Not your child. Your child is having a mental breakdown.
Yeah,
this
your
isn't
child
normal life."
This is a cry for help.
Yeah,
Get us some
she
therapy.
needs help. That is not a normal thing to do. I understand why. I understand why as the audience, but you shouldn't. Go
You should
seek
get
some help.
therapy. I've also one of my favorite jokes in this episode, and one of the funniest jokes I've seen in Phineas and Ferb in a while. I just really enjoyed it. You know how there's always one bang in line? I love how Doof gets shrunk down, and then Perry just puts him in his hat, and then Doof goes, "Hey, you can't... Oh, this is nicer than my first apartment."
It is really good. Coming into adult life, I haven't quite got that feeling yet, but
Yeah.
I kind of relate when hang on, I hope my roommates can't hear me. I'll whisper into the microphone.
Yeah.
What I don't like is I go to the shower, and because we've only got 2 shower bath mat things, and the bath mat is completely drenched, like completely, like it's just water, and I'm like, what? So I have to take the bath mat, I wring it out, then I hang it back up, then I get the other bath mat and I put it on the floor, and the other bath mat's somehow wet as well, and it's just so awful because I do it every single time, and now one of them's getting mold because it's been wet for so long, and I'm just like, I want to die. All I want to do is have a shower and then have something to dry my feet with, and so water doesn't go everywhere through the bathroom, but I can't have it because I think they shower with the door open and they aim the shower head out the fucking door and they just shower outside the shower because it's claustrophobic. I don't give a shit. Anyway, it ruins my bath mat and I hate it.
I feel very sorry for the people that came to this podcast for Phineas and Ferb. It's like one of those classic Black Panther and Infinity War memes. It's like, I'm listening to a Phineas and Ferb podcast, yes. So shouldn't you discuss Phineas and Ferb? We don't do that here.
We don't do that. Not yet.
So yeah, that's all the notes I've got for that first episode.
Yeah, it's not Phineas and
pretty
Ferb, so I'm not interested. Phineas and Ferb-Busters, on the other hand, though.
That's
There is
a
one
lot of Phineas and Ferb.
amazing thing, and then there's Candice's Angels, which is also
Yes.
fairly good.
Yes,
not as amazing
there
as
is
the
one
first.
solid implication in this episode that's that I quite
probably
like.
going to take up the majority of our time right now.
Yes, so rapid fire, because I've got the summary for this one. Candice can't manage to bust the boys, and it's frustrating her. There's a bit where she literally looks away for a quarter of a second, and when she looks back, their entire contraption is gone. It's quite funny. the Fireside Girls apparently moved a mountain. Because
That's it. That's the one I want to talk about.
that's actually not the major implication I was talking about.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's the major one. What major one? Okay.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you in a sec. So, yeah, Candice comes up and is like, "How do I bust my brothers?" And Isabella goes, "Well, how do you think I got my moving a mountain patch?" And Candice is like, "By working on it solely by yourself." And she was like, "No, teamwork. See that mountain? It used to be over there."
And then there's like a hole where the mountain was, and they've
Like,
moved it to where the
how
glacier
many
was.
Fireside Girls are there?
They're small girls. How do they move a mountain? That is insane.
Do you know how heavy a mountain is? I'll
Fairly
give you a hint.
fucking heavy.
It's pretty. It's pretty fucking heavy.
I'd say at least
Have you
3
seen that?
tons.
Have you seen that? Yeah, at least. Have you seen that video of those dudes moving a house?
No.
There's some dudes over in a non-European country, so my geography is bad about it.
Because your
and-
geography of the European countries is amazing, is it? Fuck.
I'm pretty
You
sure I
don't
can
know what
point.
Spain's next to. Get out of here.
I can point to England, and I can point to America and Canada, and I can point to Russia, and I can point to Australia.
That is more than
And
most
that's
of
it.
America can. So that's fair enough. I'll give you that.
No, I joke, but I tend to know where countries are. I mean,
Name a country. Africa? And then points. Oh, I love that.
so yeah, there's these dudes, and they need to move a house, so they just get everyone in the village, and they just pick it up and move it. It's really cool.
What? Like
Yeah.
every single person.
There's like
just,
200 people each holding onto this house, and they all work together, and they just lift a house and move it.
Right, they better lift with their legs. Otherwise you hurt your back.
I reckon.
That's how Isabella moved the mountain. She lifted her legs.
Did some deadlifts to prepare.
Deadlifts, and she was just like, teamwork my ass. Watch me. And just like fucking
What?
yeet. Just like threw it over there. Good.
I love that.
All right. So what was your major implication that wasn't
My major
that she can
implication-
move a mountain?
Was going to be, so Phineas and Ferb, their adventure for this one is they decide to, so they let Bajit choose the adventure because they've got to let all their friends participate, and I appreciate that. And Bajit chooses Beyblades. And they try the Beyblades out, and they're like, this is pretty boring. And I'm like, firstly, how dare you? I have never been so angered by something I agree with so wholeheartedly.
Me and my ADHD are offended.
I played a lot of Beyblade when I was a kid, so
How do you
seeing
know a
spinning.
kid has ADHD? Well, you'll see him with a spinning top made out of metal, and then you'll know. That's the test.
Minor tangent. I think I might have even brought this up on the podcast before, but
probably
quick
have.
fire version of the story. And you were there for this. This is for the listeners.
Opposed to
My
everything
cousins
else,
came.
That's just for me.
Yes. My cousins came over one time, and they were talking to me about how into Beyblades they are, and I was like, "Oh, what Beyblades have you got?" Because I know Beyblades like vaguely, and they were like, "We don't have any. Our friends from school have one, but we don't have one because Mum won't let us buy one." And I'm
How
like,
do you not have Beyblades?
"How do you not have a Beyblade?" And I was like, "Righto, I'll set you up." So I went up into the shed and I got my old Beyblades out and I handed them to them. I was like, "All right, you're gonna have this one, you're gonna have this one," and I gave them like some really good ones, like ones with a metal face bolt and like a proper ripcord launcher. And I was like, "You be special with this." And I had 2 copies of my favorite one, so I gave him one of them, and it was like this super sweet moment where it was like, "Oh, we got the same Beyblade because we're like cool like that," and it was really happy. And as they were driving off, we were like waving goodbye to him, and I was just like, I just realized all the new Beyblades are plastic, and these people are like 9, so they probably have the new Beyblades, and I've just given these kids the old metal Beyblades that are capable of like tearing your finger off.
Someone's going to get hurt.
Their mum probably hates me now because every couple of days she gets a bill in the mail for another fucking plastic
Another health
Beyblade.
insurance claim.
And I don't regret a thing because that's the fact that they're going to go to school and start destroying their friend's property, to me at least, is objectively hilarious.
It is quite hilarious.
So they let Baji choose. He chooses Beyblades. They're like, we're going to upgrade this shit.
Yeah,
So they
they're
do what
it
I-
needs more oomph, and I'm like,
Yes.
metal? No.
no,
Sit
no.
down, boy. We've got a
Sit
better
down.
idea than that.
And they do what I always dreamed of, and they build Beyblades that you can sit in and drive that are giant. And Phineas then delivers the line, since we couldn't have cords attached to all of them because that would get tangled, we've just spread the power through the ground in the garden with this machine. Yeah. And I'm like, that's my major one. They built a very small generator that can power all of these tops and can literally like wirelessly transmit energy or like through the ground.
Yeah.
How do we think they did it? And do we think that they had to just do the minor challenge of solving the renewable energy crisis so that they could play with spinning tops?
Beyblades?
Yeah.
Have you seen The Prestige?
I have, yeah. It's a good movie.
There was a bit where the light, Hugh Jackman picks up a light and it turns on and he puts it back in the ground and it turns on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something like that, i.e. magic. No.
Yeah, isn't the trick to that one that the light just has a power source in it?
No, because he flicks a switch. Hang on. I'm going to actually do a bit of Googling for this.
Oh my God, research on this podcast? What
research is a very strong word. I'm not going out and collecting my own data or shit. I'm literally clicking a few words into Google. I'm not even going to click a link. I'm just going to...
I was initially going to ask if this episode not require much editing, but you know.
Well, this one's... Well, you just cut out the 20 minutes in between and you'll be fucking fine. So it is... I think it's possible you can power shit through dirt, like through the ground. But what I originally thought before Buford pumped it up to like whatever, he could very easily... That backyard could very easily have a thin metal plate just on the bottom. And then there's grass on the top. Because the amount of shit they do,
because they have like a rocket launching center beneath it.
Yeah, they've got so many things beneath it. Even in this app, one of Candices Angels, the hippie one, she comes out of like a tunnel that's underneath the backyard. So it stands to reason that the backyard itself maybe have like a thin sheet of metal, which is then transmitting the electricity, similar to what you have in a bumper car above you with the little wire, except below you. And you probably shouldn't be standing on that ground. Anyway.
However, in terms of
Buford does
what it does, I was just
going
to say,
not even 11, not even halfway. He just turns the danger up a little bit, and huge electrical pulse pumps through the entire tri-state area.
And that generator is very small. And notice it doesn't have any wires connected to it.
No, so it's got all whatever the energy
very powerful battery.
Source is.
That's the real implication. One of the main reasons we can't do we're struggling to do renewable energy is because of the difficulty of having a super battery. Because we need somewhere to store it after we've made it. Because you can store coal and you can move it across the world, but you can't really store like
batteries are heavy. They're expensive. They're difficult.
Until now.
Until now. But this generator could power anything wirelessly. Like it did. Like you just sat it on the ground, turned a switch, and the entire tri-state area had a huge... Are we going to talk about the fact that it like could transform other robots and like upgrade?
Yeah, that's
them?
another good point. Jesus Christ, wireless upgrades. Wireless physical upgrades.
As soon as the boys left the spinning tops, they flew off. That's not how spinning tops work. Like they flew up. They just left.
Yeah, they gained so much speed that they just went up into space, I guess.
That's not how spinning. That's not how spinning works.
Yeah, no, not really.
All right, I dare you to stand and then put your arms out and just start fucking spinning.
I mean, to be fair, if something generates even a little bit of upwards lift, which, like, I mean, okay, this is very... You're probably going to yell at me for this, but if something generates a decent amount of upwards lift, which the fact that spinning tops can't stand up when they're not spinning, but then they do stand up when they are, means that they probably generate at least a little. It stands to reason that if it goes fast enough, it'll go up, right?
Think of a spinning top not like it's lifting up, but like it's leaning on itself.
No, I get what you mean.
Because it's like the force keeping you up is the force keeping you up on the other side. Because you're spinning so fast, the one opposite, assume your state of spinning, you're on one side of the spin. On the other side of the spin, there's a kind of you. And that force counteracts. And so you can kind of like stay in the one spot because you're leaning on yourself.
Yeah,
That was a hard way to
guess,
describe
but like, I don't know. Yeah, no, you're probably right.
Because the force is very much flat. Or I guess... But no, it wouldn't go up. There's no way it goes up. It's not going to defeat gravity without any sort of... Because it's just a spinning top. There wasn't anything that would give it lift. There wasn't like sails or anything. But anyway, I found it fun that... And their eject button just like fires them out.
And Bajit keeps breaking. He gets his finger caught in the glass, and then he...
Oh, that would hurt. That was hefty glass.
Yeah,
that was
shit
thick.
looked painful. Holy moly.
And it closed. That would have like broken.
You ever shut a door on
his
your
fingers
nail?
would have been broken. He would have been sitting there with broken fingers going, I just wanted to enjoy my Beyblades. As they just like smack into each other. Because they were just bumper carts, really. And then the white electricity goes everywhere and like annoys things, and Doof nearly gets murdered by his own machine, and then Norm saves him, and so he goes back to Norm, and Norm's squirrel powered as usual, and it's good stuff.
Indeed it is.
It's very wholesome.
Yes, this is just a good episode. This is one of those very normal Phineas and Ferb style episodes that's just enjoyable.
Yeah,
Just
you
a-
haven't got any
just a
complaints
classic
about it.
Yeah, apart from the flying spinning tops, apparently.
Yeah, no, that's not how spinning tops work.
Here's some rapid fire implications. I like how Monogram cucked Bajit out of getting to say, "Where's Perry?"
Yes, and I don't think Balsheet has said it. I'm sure he said it at least once.
Yeah, probably.
Anyway, they gave
I
him
don't
the
know.
honor, and then they just cut, which is
Yeah,
great.
they cut, and Monogram's like, "Where's Perry?" Oh, there he is.
There you are. I
Sorry,
didn't
Agent
see
P,
you.
I didn't see you. You were
We need
right.
that egg-laying mammalian magic, and then he does a magic trick, which was really
He
good.
just disappears. Monogram's like, "Whoa, where did he go?" And then they show him under the desk, and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
so we don't have to discuss this implication because they revealed the trick. Very nice of them. Less work for us.
Yeah, far less work for us. Oh, yeah, just pointed him. There he is.
Yes.
That's how he did it.
Some good lines. I like how Candice goes, "Why is everything so hard?" 'Cause same, Candice, same.
When she just starts crying because her friends are like, I'm not really into orange. Can I have a pink one? And she's just like breaks down. Like, she just starts crying. It's so hard. Life never goes right. And I'm like, you are so close to the edge, Candice. Are you sure this is a good idea? Like, you are... you're so
You're
close.
so nearly gone.
That tipped you.
Yeah. I also
But I feel it.
like...
I understand that.
Yeah, we're uni students, 100%.
That's how you live life
To
to
life.
life. Day to day. Not life to life, day to day.
A good line from Norm. I know I have a heart because it's breaking.
Yeah, again, another thing you can relate to. That was rough. That was deep. Poor Norm.
Rip Norm.
I know.
And then two ones from Zach. Shout out to Zach. We watched the episode with him.
Yeah, he kind of just jumped into our Discord. What a rude little... No,
Yeah,
that's fine.
imagine just jumping in and watching Phineas and Ferb. How rude.
Imagine if we ever did that with our Discord. Had like people join us. Anyway, continue.
Just invited people in. Imagine if Swampy just jumps back in. He's still in the Discord server.
He's
I
still in
assume
Discord. He
deleted
doesn't know how to
Discord.
use Discord. We won't tell him. I will have no slander for him on this podcast. But
Yeah,
yeah, no,
fair
he
enough.
is
He doesn't know how to
still
use Discord.
in this.
Yeah, it makes me happy
he's
that every
been-
time we record, I see that little M Monogram username in the offline people on the.
He has been
Outside of
offline,
Discord
I
server.
think, for 6 months now.
Yep.
Let's have a look.
Send him a friend request.
he is my friend, I think.
Oh, is he? Is he mine? He better be.
Assuming he's my friend.
He's not my friend. I can't say I'm friends with Swampy.
Surely we can.
I mean, he's in
Monogram.
our Discord server. That counts. We're friends
Yeah,
with him.
we're the only, the only Discord server he is in his house.
Yeah, and also how many other people can say that they've been invited to have a beer with Swampy when coronavirus clears up?
I would love a beer right now, actually. That's what I'm going to do after this.
I could go for a beer right now.
Some
So some rapid fire, going back to what I was trying to say, some rapid fire implications from Zach. Got two. He was just watching and commenting, and some of his comments were top tier. The first was when Perry left after the power surge. Perry leaves Doof, and then Doof has to fight the robot by himself. And Zach goes, "I love how he just leaves Doof to die."
Yep. But Monogram told him he can't, so he just leaves him there.
Perry's like, "Good soldiers follow orders."
Good soldiers follow orders.
Anyone who's watched Clone Wars can cry with us.
Yes, Bad Batch. Watch that as well.
Bad Batch is really good. I'm really enjoying it. There's something that we should have brought up in the show recommendations section. We've been watching Bad Batch. It's good.
Watch Clone Wars first, though. Like you gotta like Star Wars if you want to watch it, but it's still worth a watch.
The correct watching order for Star Wars is 4, 5, 6, 2, Clone Wars from midway through season 3 through to season 7, Bad Batch, episode 3, Mandalorian, episode 7, episode 8.
The correct Star Wars watching, if you want to make sure you get the best experience, watch number 4, then watch Phineas and Ferb, Star Wars, and then watch Mandalorian. That's all you need to know. Fuck the rest. Oh, Clone Wars is great if you feel like some extra reading.
I like how you just had the balls to say fuck episode 5. That is some commitment, dude.
The only reason I'm including 4 is because Phineas and Ferb is built on 4, and you're not going to get all the cool jokes if you haven't watched 4. That is the only reason it's in the list.
Yep, that's a good point.
Also, you'll know who Luke is when he shows up in Mandalorian. Major spoilers, but still.
Yep, pretty much.
You won't get why he doesn't have a hand and he's got a green lightsaber and he's wearing black. Doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
It don't matter.
It don't matter. It don't matter.
Don't matter. Yeah, Clone Wars season 7 is so good. And then last line, at the very end of this episode, Candice's Angels, because that's what we're calling them now, Candice's Angels, are crying. And then Candice is like, "Just give it a rest, guys. It's over." And they go, "But we were told to wait until Linda offers pie." And then Zach immediately jumps in and just goes, "Fuck, I'd love some of Linda's pie."
I want some pie. Just normal pie.
I could go for some pie.
Kind of hungry. Actually, I haven't had breakfast and it's 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock,
I need to have some lunch.
Yeah, you probably should. I'm probably going to go have a beer. Anyway, let's wrap up the episode. Joe, where can the people find us?
They can find us on Gmail, right? And someone did find us on Gmail.
Oh my God, very nice.
I have not responded to him, so I thought it would be a cool way to respond is through the podcast, like we've been trying to do for a while.
Yes,
would you like me to read you the Gmail? I definitely
100%.
haven't read you before.
Let me have a read.
Alrighty, so I have to find the Gmail app. I have found the Gmail app. Silas Frost has said, "Dear Joe and Lachlan, I'm writing a response to something I noticed in your episode on Just Passing Through, in which you were talking about Superman not having to strain with his handcuffs. And I noticed you were shaking something that sounded like metal cuffs, and it added some depth to the show. I'd like to propose that you add one DIY sound effect for a random part of each of your episodes. I think it would be a really funny gag, even if you didn't mention what you were doing. Anyway, hang on. Continuing to love the show on long bike journeys, Silas."
First of all, listening to the show while going on a bike, 100%, that is the ideal way to consume it. I appreciate you. That is
I don't know if riding a bike is ideal, not my personal thing, but if it's yours,
if you are listening to this podcast while riding a bike or in a car, watch out! No,
there's a car on your left. No, I think he's missed something really important to our podcast, though.
Yeah.
Which is, if there is a gag, we will point it out, and we will make sure you know how funny it wasn't, because we'll point out how funny it isn't. But I'm glad he's tried to softly give us the advice of not pointing out everything. Thank you. And also, when it comes to DIY sound effects, that is a nice idea. I am just awfully lazy.
Yeah, it requires effort. This podcast is fun to make because it is such a low effort content. We can just basically talk to each other.
Well, I wouldn't say
That's just
low
dumb.
effort, but it's just
No, it's not low effort, but like the time put into time consumed is very, very
I
high
think the
of a
reason
ratio.
why Silas particularly likes it is because the immersion, I assume. Well, that's why I would like it. So
Yep. Bit of ASMR. Lachlan in post. Pan these. Now I'm in your left ear. Now I'm in your right ear. Very cool. I'm not actually going to pan those. That's too much work. But
you're just gonna fucking. Like you're a weirdo.
just going to leave it in.
Anyway, this is the immersion.
Oh, you've got immersion for us.
Yeah, can you hear that? Oh,
It's
you
not really
can't.
picking up with Discord, but it'll pick up with
It will go
Unicaster.
through Unicaster. So there was a bit of immersion in there. It's awful
Yeah.
immersion. And I would also find it hilarious if you somehow just cut in a nice little car crashing noise for poor Silas on his bike. I'm kidding. I wouldn't do that to Silas. Have a nice ride.
Yep. Oh, jeez.
Oh,
There's some
also,
immersion. Dropped my
Instagram.
phone.
There's sometimes on Instagram because there's cool memes. That's about it, really.
Instagram's fun. Sometimes we post memes. Mostly we post teasers. Sometimes
Yes.
I send Joe memes on that account so that he can proceed to not check it because he doesn't have notifications on.
Yep. Oh no, I do. I just don't. I just go no.
Wow, so it's not because you don't see it, it's just because you don't really
I'm making
want
sure you know I purposely look that you send something and go no. And also, if you want to hear how late the episode will be, might try Instagram. Might be there.
Yeah, we sometimes post occasionally about that.
Yes.
And also
Right.
you can find us on other places in the description, like Twitter and other etc. We're very lazy with social medias. It's not really our thing.
Watch it on YouTube as well. If you want
Yes,
to
watch
get
it
some
on
views up.
YouTube. I wonder if there's anyone other than Zach listening this week. If you're listening on YouTube, leave a YouTube comment. We probably won't see
Yes.
it, but like leave it anyway.
Zach will see it, and
Zach will
tell
see
us.
it, and Zach will respond, and that's what matters.
Yeah, Zach will respond on his account. As an unofficial part of this podcast. Thanks for your comment.
Yup. And that's about it.
That is good. Have a nice one.
Yeah. Yeah, have a nice rest of your ride / car trip if you're listening in that format. Remember that lane that you're merging into has a car in it, and if you don't slow down, then you're probably going to hit it. Just chill out. And yeah, I know what we've done today.
I know what we did today. What we've done today. You've done today. End it. Kill it. Bye-bye,
Bam.
Craig.
Immersion.
Bye, Craig.
Teacup sounds.
The implications of Phineas and Ferb. Listen to it whenever you can.